Hi guys, now before I get into today's video, I'm going to just let you know that I've created another YouTube channel called Felix Says. Now on that channel I'll be talking about whatever's going on in the world but from my perspective, and the theme of that channel is not to care too much what people think about me because I'm too busy doing what I want to do. And also I'm going to use this moment to plug my Instagram, as I'm close to 200 followers on there, so it will mean a lot if you follow me on Instagram and if you checked out the other channel. But enough about that, let's go on to today's video. Hi guys, welcome to the Lair of the Lycan, aka the HQ Metal. Now to me, metal music is rebellion, expression, brutality, nonconformity, oneness, victory and serenity. And before we go any further, don't forget to subscribe in order to see the next video, which will be out on Thursday. And another benefit of this is that I respond to comments daily, so if you have something to say to me in the comments down below, I'll respond right away. Now enough of that, let's go on to this album review. Tides of Creation is the 13th studio album by American thrash metal band Testament, and it was released on April the 3rd of this year. This album also marks the first time that Testament had recorded more than one album with the same lineup since The Ritual. First number of this album is as follows: Chuck Billy on lead vocals and production, Eric Peterson on rhythm and lead guitar and vocals and also production, Alex Skolnick on lead guitar, Steve DiGiorgio on bass, and Gene Hoglan on drums. As sure as the sun will rise tomorrow, Testament will release an album every few years, and it will be very good indeed. Thus saith the gods of thrash metal, for they are the righteous and true. At this point, the Bay Area legends have transcended all corners created by reviews such as this one due to their sheer consistency, attitude and all-around badass metalness. They utterly exude charisma, assurance and pure metal. Tides of Creation is no more an addition to the shining Testament discography as it is a statement on their current position. They are indeed the titans, and among those who helped carve the thrash metal genre as we know it today. The formation of Damnation was a triumphant re-establishment of their status. Dark Roots of Earth was a substantial victory. Brotherhood of the Snake showcased their confidence to have fun with their winning streak, and here in 2020 they offer a mammoth of modern thrash metal which tramples over many of their peers with its sheer weight. Yes, this is a beefy affair and almost an hour and consisting of 12 tracks, most of which are between 5 and 6 minutes. It will either take a toll on your attention span or wreck your muscles. For me, it's both. I have found my focus drifting whilst into the catacombs of this album, but at no point did my head stop nodding. Skolnick and Co have developed this mighty, meaty tone over the decades, and this gigantic timbre has become characteristically familiar. Testament's MO has become less about displaying one hefty riff, one blazing solo, or even one catchy chorus at a time. Instead of focusing on crafting well-written songs, every track on Titans brings something a little new, but they all belong to the world of the album, flow well within their 5-minute time spans, and are in most cases utterly crushing. Sure, they may be a bit of self-indulgence here and there, but I'm not sure Children of the Next Level or Neither Which need to be over 6 minutes. But like I said, this is Testament and they'll do whatever they want. Despite its outward appearance, amazing artwork notwithstanding, this record does not feel like the next direct logical step from Brotherhood of the Snake. In fact, there are 1 or 2 numbers which wouldn't feel out of place on their 90s albums. Change their admittedly incredible production values, and Dream Deceiver would fit nicely onto The Ritual. The groovier offerings like the grinding healers or the hammering symptoms, especially the latter, might even reflect the Californians' fondness for low, or dare I say it, demonic. My favourite Testament album. Symptoms in general might maybe would be a favourable track on the album. It just absolutely batters my ears with bouncing chugs, boisterous gang shouts and hulking grooves. Speaking of the groove, the strangely subdued Sea of Angels is right up there with the best groove thrash ever delivered. The bluesy riffing is irresistible, and the main riff under the verses hits like an absolute pile driver. Just check out the 3 minute 0.5 second mark for the kind of groove that makes your whole body collapse. For the added net breaking, check out the 4 minute 30 mark. I'm telling you, the riff counting on this track is out of this world. Elsewhere, it's fashion business as usual, but with an added sense of grandiosity and nobility. This partly is thanks to the godly being that Chuck Billy is. I'll give it time to settle in, but at the moment, this is looking like his best performance ever put to disc. He maintains his gruff mid-range impact for the majority of the album, but occasionally delves into guttural, demonic territory. Then a little more frequently, we're treated to some incredible high-pitched screams, such as the chorus of Night of the Witch, or the storming refrain of Curse of Osiris, an amazingly ferocious way to close the album. However, here lies one of the problems with this LP. The bombastic 2-minute outro of Catacombs kind of ruins the solid and furious ending of the previous song, which, why wasn't this even used as the intro track? The orchestrations, the sustained block chords, and the eerie atmosphere are the perfect way to get listeners into the mythological vibe of the record. So a recommendation would be listen to the troll track first, then start the disc spinning again for maximum immersion. As I said at my introduction, any qualms raised by reviews from the lowly writers such as myself are instantly crushed by the towering Godzilla that this Testament reputation among the metal community has. In it, it's a New Testament album, and we should all be absolutely grateful. Skolnick is pulling risks out of the bag left, right and centre, and Chuck Billy is just a beast. Behind the kid, G. Hoagland is even a bigger beast. And let's face it, this is basically a supergroup at this point, from the ballsy thrash of World War III to the headbanger of Code of Homburai. Times of Creation is the phenomenal monolith of modern thrash metal by whose legacy will be eternal. It would be quite a stretch to say that Testament, one of the premier thrash metal outfits to come running out of San Francisco in the mid-1980s, ever left the scene. Nonetheless, there is a sentiment among old school thrashers that following the close of the decade that witnessed their birth as a mad thrashing powerhouse, that Chuck Billy and company had abandoned the impact-based, riff-happy approach that typified their seminal offerings. This isn't to say that the recent albums like The Formation of Damnation and The Dark Roots of Earth have been slouches in any sense, but there have been definitely a tendency towards more groove-oriented modernity to their sound ever since the release of 1992's Ritual, and arguably this band's attempts of rivaling the massively popular albums of Metallica and Megadeth from the same time period. In this age ongoing, primitive thrash relativism it seems that the hour is right for these veterans to turn back the clock a bit on their sound. Although definitely an exercise in crushing high fidelity modern thrashing from a production standpoint, 2020's Time of Creation sees a noble return for a more old school brand of thrashing from the standpoint of execution. Most owes to Chuck Billy's colossal vocal assault, turning down from the low-pitched grunting quality for something a bit more closer to the classic mid-range gruff style that first saw him compared to James Hetfield back in the day. Naturally, it's not just a full throwback to his 1987 vocal persona, which was painted with occasional Ian Gillan meets Rob Halford. Moments when shrieking in his upper range, but what is one which displayed with his definitely as an approach to quality to it. Moments from shrieking in his upper range, but what is one display here definitely as a rest of the band, one would expect no less from the room section consisting of the likes of Gene Hoglan and Steve DiGiorgio, sometimes wind up with a borderline clean song territory. In the case of a number of recent albums by fellow members of the Bay Area, such as Death Angel and Exodus, this is an album that does not live by speed alone, but definitely has a greater share of its than its immediate predecessors, Gallop Happy, Crushers, with plenty of detail peppered on top of Children of the Next Level, and the gear grinding monsters like Night of the Witch, and that don't pull any punches but showcase a level of nuance and development that is a bit more indicative of where thrash metal was headed just before its original denouncement in the early 1990s, when Forbidden and Heathen were moving the style into a more intricate direction. On the other hand, speedy flashes of rage like World War III and False Prophet harken back to the more excessive period of the mid-80s, where it was all about how the most insane in the pit without committing suicide approached a more grooving side of the spectrum with slower paced yet vicious symptoms. Most of the aforementioned songs are not without some degree of predecessors in Testament's recent past, if having a bit more bite to them. They are pretty more jarring than surprises seem to come back from right out left field. The off-key melodic yet smasher of the mid-paced Anthem City of Angels proves to be the longest, most complex of the pack, and occasionally exhibiting quasi ballad character and showcasing some of Chuck Cleaner's vocals, to speak nothing of the fancy bass noodling of Giorgio and the healthy degree of Black Sabbath influences smattered among the middle section of the song. Closing the instrumental, Catacombs gets a bit trippy, but with some orchestral additives like something out of one of the Mummy films, with a thrashing backdrop, of course. But the real outlier of the bunch is almost Black and Thrasher, Curse of Osiris, which sounds like halfway like something left over from Eric Peterson's latest stint with Dragonlord. It's an incredibly early outing for a title to the current era of metal music, but if this album and the recent slew of music offerings of thrash metal's older guard is any indication, it will likely be remembered as an era of amazing comebacks. As stated earlier, Testament is a band that never really left the scene when it all but died out in the mid-90s, but there's definitely been a few clear moments of ebbing in what could rightly dub a career dominated by consistent flow. Times of Creation is one of those new classics that can easily go toe-to-toe with the seminal offerings from the style's heyday, all the while being sonically appropriate for the current age. Opinions may vary, but yours truly will go on to call this the best thing to come out of Testament's arsenal since their riveting debut, The Legacy. And before I close out the video, just to remind you that if you subscribe, you'll see the next video, which will be out on Thursday. And another benefit of this channel is that I'll respond to comments daily, so I'll have something to say to you if you respond right away. Other than that,